No. No. None of these. That one mentions a gift. Unless you're talking about one of these. There it is! I need you to deliver our whole for Kern to sell. He will not speak to you unless you know the words Ik Nibion Eldfion. He's only found in the gift after dark. In the gift after dark. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, can we rest here? Nah.
Easy does it.
It's fine. We'll, you know what? Before we go down there, let's just explore up top here first. But yeah, we'll it has to be at night, so we'll wait until night somehow. Find a way. The grimy window have been papered over from the inside. Some addicts. A dozen tiny somethings squirm within the pot of rice. Ugh.
Isn't this something?
Potion of power? Huh.
All right, then.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know where I can camp, though. Some of your favorite? I'll keep that stuff in mind and I'll look at it when we get to, like, you know, really tough bosses and things. The knob on the other side suggests that the table was fashioned from a derelict door. The slightest pressure causes it to wobble atop the barrels. Kolfig, a youngish elven man, squints at you in surprise. You can't just barge into somebody's home like this. What do you think you are? Or you? The half who lives here. Now get out. What now? He looks at you nervously. I'm leaving.
I'll see what I can find.
Three ends in Defiance Bay? Oh, I'm pretty sure there's one in this zone too. Because somebody mentioned at some point... Oh, maybe it's in Breckenbury. The Salty Mast? Although it would make sense that it would be here, because it's where the boats are. The hell? Too bad. Well, shit! As you enter the room, you see several figures huddled together. They stand at attention, armed, but not in matched gear like the Crucible Knight. At the center of the group, one woman looms over another, holding a flail. She snarls at the cowering figure. You've got pages of research here. You expect me to believe this was just scratch work? It's nothing, I promise, just my notes. You hear a painful smack at the woman's backhands as the woman backhands her captive. We know you were meeting with the Crucible Knights. You think they're the only ones with power in the city. They call us the Dozen for a reason. Now, I won't ask you again. At a nudge from one of her men, the woman turns and sees you watching. Her eyes narrow. You shouldn't be here. What's going on here? She tightens her grip on her flail. Nothing you need to know about. Nothing I need to know about, right? Let's go. Let's do this. Nothing I need to know about. We'll see. We shall see.
That looked like a bird.
You can't move.
Yeah.
Falling back. I was gonna say, how tough is that dude?
Lava beyond sea.
Wait, you're free? No, you're not. Absolutely not.
I'll teach you a lesson.
From the Dozens. Vienna's face is covered in bruises and her eyes are wide with shock and relief. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Rapid itching breaths punctuate her words. I was sure they were going to kill me. She wipes a tear from her cheek, wincing as her knuckles grazes a bruise. What happened here? I thought I was coming here to meet my, friend from the Republics. It looked like I walked into a trap. She shakes her head. The Dozens must have been watching me for a while. I'd been working on a special project for the Crucible Knights, and they weren't exactly subtle about contacting me. Tell me about yourself. I studied animancy in Ozia, back in the Valen Republics. I came to Defiance Bay to research local advances, but instead of going to Brackenbury Sanitarium, I found a position as a scrivener at the Temple of Whale. I've had access to many rare manuscripts that most animancers never see. She shrugs. Of course, I've had to keep my head down. I've been careful not to let the head librarian or my colleagues know what I'm working on. About this project. It deals with a rather rare branch of animancy. No offense, but I probably shouldn't get too specific without Commander Cliver's permission. He commissioned it after all. She laughs nervously, and you can see the trouble a little indiscretion has gotten me into. Let's get out of here. She nods on a split lip. Commander Cliver of the Crucible Knights is waiting on my research. Not that you haven't already done a lot for me, but maybe you could take it to him. I kept it with me to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, but you can see how well that worked out. She nods at Dodwina's corpse. She took it from me when I arrived. She takes a deep breath. Anyhow, don't wait on me. I can make my own way out of here.
Laying low.
I wanted to join the dozens, man, but now I'm not sure. Aru Brecker. This robust brigandine has been repeatedly reinforced by the Aetherin adventurer who once owned it. Thickly panned, the armor was dubbed Aru Brecker, or Arrow Breaker. It served the adventurer well until her fame and fortune made her grow complacent, and she allowed an opponent to get too close. While Arrowbreaker protected her from projectiles, it didn't provide the same protection against a mace to the side of the head. That makes sense. Huh. Cool. And her research. This page contains Viana's research on Anguitan techniques for imbuing matter with essence. She appears to have developed a method based on her studies of animats. On the first page is a note to someone named Dunstan. Tax selected but stolen by bandits? What? Where? The Morning Circle, a secret society of animancers, blah blah blah, we've read this. The secret society known as the Morning Circle repeatedly eluded Sagani's pursuit. As soon as Sagani discovered their latest location, they would begin the process of moving to a new town. It turned out that the Morning Circle had an extensive spy network at their disposal. Eventually, Sagani managed to capture a senior member of the group who was more than willing to give up information on her brothers and sisters. In a Rhodes-Hand charnel house, Sagani entrusted soldiers of the Menhem family, confronted and killed most of the cult's leader. Though some members of the group escaped, the Erla of Elsgate, Freya Menhem, was confident that their power in the Durwood was broken. And we got some money, experience, and a pair of gloves. The Morning Gloves? These gloves were recovered from the Animency cult known as the Morning Circle, who traveled the Eastern Reach promising to bring back the dead. The promises were a cover for horrific experiments, including abductions, murders, and vivisections. Despite the name of the group, the power of the gloves is unleashed after the wearer kills an enemy. This is hilarious. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I love it. 5 to all defenses. 10% attack speed, 10 concentration and 15 interrupt, -1 resolve, plus 15 endurance. Dude, these are pretty cool gloves. Wow. Oh, all earnings were lost to bandits. So it's not the same as the previous one, because the previous one I had was... Oh no, it was the same. All earnings lost to bandits. How? Look at my defense. Security plus 16. How? What do I need to do? I'm already building the barracks. I'll be able to hire people soon. I mean, I'm double the amount. I know, but like, that's kind of stupid. Like, I should at least get some kind of bonus because I have more security, you know? That hurts, man. Hey, hammer and chisel.
Sure.
The water in the pail is murky with blood. The rope coiled around the chair feels painfully scratchy. Ugh. Oh, that's right. I can do that. Why can I not sleep in here? Like, I should be able to retain a little bit of that money without the barracks if the difference between the prestige and my security is that high. Because, like, now it feels like I should have built the barracks all along and just not care about security, because it's... Apparently security doesn't do anything. Okay. What kind of name is this? Khwarizmian. Okay. Hey, just some random people. Cool. I'll just steal all your shit. I don't care. A dozen tiny something squirms from the bottom. The bed is stiff as a plank. The worn, grimy blankets feel as if they come apart in the wash. Sorry, guys. I totally just lost all your stuff. Just stole all your stuff. But you're not real NPCs anyway. You're make-believe NPCs. I wonder if there's an achievement if you kill all of them. Shove off, we got nothing to talk about. No shit, man. Don't have to be so angry about it. With its crooked and missing shingles, the roof resembles a prize-fighter gap-toothed smile. Okay. Save.
I see where you're going with that.
There. What did I tell?
Let's get in there. Let's see what happens. It's the same as the other house.
Every day.
Someone stashed a few sooty playing card under the bed. Some pearls. Interesting. Really interesting. Let's get down there. Now hiring builders, no experience needed.
Gods keep you.
As you approach, she eagerly turns to you. You're interested in doing some construction work. Her clothes are simple but nicer than most you've seen in Undra's Gift. Pays good money. I take it you're having trouble finding workers. Workers who aren't superstitious cowards anyway. She shakes her head. I offer good coin, but as soon as I tell them about the job, they say an oath to the ladies of Lament and spit over the dock. They all think the lighthouse is haunted, ever since the floods of Undra's Gift. Echoes of the war. The flood certainly claimed enough souls to pack a lighthouse full to bursting. Undra's Gift was flooded. Back at the end of the War of Defiance, it was one of the finishing blows to the Aedaran military. Cost us a lot though. The whole district was supposed to be evacuated, but not everyone left in time. The Aedaran put anyone they found to the sword. The lucky ones who escaped the slaughter drowned hours later when Adra's forces broke the dams. Ugh. Locals say the lighthouse keeper was one of the people who stayed behind, and one of the last to die. She shrugs. I don't know why that makes the lighthouse any more haunted than the rest of the gift, but there you have it. That won't stop me. I've gone inside. Who, me? She laughs nervously. Not exactly. See, my health is rather delicate, and all that dust... She sighs. Alright, when I saw two Omoa deckhands running as fast as they could down the pier, I lost my nerve too. I could take a look. Good! About time someone put an end to this foolishness. She rummages in her pockets and pulls out a skeleton key. As she hands it to you, she hesitates. Just be careful. Not that I believe the ghost stories, but it is an old building, so watch your step. I have some questions. What do you want to know? Do you know what might be inside the lighthouse? If only. Nia shrugs. It's been uninhabited since the flooded Hunter's Gift. What are you building? An inn, allegedly. She brushes a single loose strand of her bun behind her ear. The gift needs a spot with a little more class than the Salty Mass. This district has been in the dumps since the War of Defiance. It seemed ready for some fresh development. So imagine my excitement when I find this place, 3 floors tall and right on the water, for sale at a reasonable price. The seller suggested that there were other interested buyers, so I closed the deal before I'd taken time to really look into it. Stupid. She shakes her head. Being from New Eomar, I knew about the floods, but I didn't know about the superstitions surrounding the lighthouse, and the seller was long gone by the time I found out. At this point, it'll be a miracle from the Lady of Lament herself if I make my investment back. Tell me about the flooding of Hunter's Gift. Hadret ordered it near the end of the War of Defiance. It was one of the finishing blows to the Edarin military. Yeah, okay, I've read that before. You're not from Defiance Bay, are you? She laughs bitterly. What gave it away? The accent? Or the fact that I was the dupe who paid good coin for this place? I'm from New Eomar, on the northern coast. It's smaller than Defiance Bay, so I came here hoping for some fresh opportunities, and maybe the chance to do a little good in this neighborhood.
Keeping an eye out.
Oh, this is a lighthouse.
Leave my spine.
Well, shit. That sounded super scary. I'm not down with this. I mean, we'll go, but good lord. Captain won't be happy to hear about this. This young, lanky sailor is wringing his cap anxiously, sweat beading on his furrowed brow. His eyes widen as you approach, and he takes a few steps forward.
Welcome.
If you have a moment, you're not from around here, right? You don't look like you're from the docks. He looks around nervously. I could use your help. What's the problem? Oh, thank you. They weren't lying, saying you're kind-hearted sort. He runs a hand through his hair nervously. Who is the person that runs ahead of me in the cities and tells about my great deeds and then just leaves and goes to the next one and I can't never catch up with that person? Everywhere I go, people are like, oh, I heard about you. How? How could you possibly have heard about me? It's the captain, or rather, not the captain himself, but his chest. His sea chest. He keeps all his valuables in there, tucked away safe. I was unloading it with the rest of the things, what with us staying in the port a couple days, and he coughs. I may have gotten a little distracted. Marcelo nods towards the building nearby. I wasn't gone long, just an hour at the Salty Mast. When I got back, the chest was gone. He sets a pleading look on you. It really hasn't been that long. Whoever took it can be too far, but the shift's changed, and I'm on watch. I can't sneak off to look for it, and the captain will kill me if he hears of it. I'll get strung up on the Yardarm. Yardarm. Good lord. Forvano's ghost? Well, obviously he gets around, yeah. Please, if you could get it back to me, I swear by the flame I'll make it worth your while. You can have my pay, and won't be spending it if Captain Fortanero finds out anyway. And yeah, these were the thieves might have taken the chest. Well, the chest itself is pretty heavy. Nobody I've asked has seen it getting carried around either. I figured they must have snuck it off somewhere nearby, just out of sight. They can't have gone far. There's a pretty good lock on it too, so I'm hoping they haven't got it open. Unless they take unless they take an axe to it, I suppose. Oh gods, he takes a breath. If they got it open, I'm really done for. What makes you think I'm not from around here? Gut feeling. The sailor grins weakly. I really could use your help though. You're a sailor? Yes, ma'am. I signed on about half a year back. The pay's decent and the sight of the sun coming up over the sea. I wouldn't give that up for anything. He sighs. I just wish I'd asked around about the captain first. Okay, we'll find your chest or whatever it is you're
This calls for a subtle touch.
looking for.
I see where you're going with that.
Okay.
A dozen Adiran ships were shattered against these levies during the War of Defiance. Best to heed the astrologers, I find, where tides are concerned.
Place gets my blood beating in all the right places.
Okay. Dude, I don't even want to know where your blood's beating, Durance. That scares me more than anything.
Well met, friend.
An old man paces the docks and looks out over the water. He's fussing over something large and round, which he constantly shifts from one end to the other. You're not certain whether it's wide-eyed, gape-mouthed, expression marks surprise or fear. It seems he isn't either. You, don't look like a guard. He examines you and your equipment more closely. Say, you wouldn't be interested in making some coppers, would you? He shows you the object in his hand. It's a large round opal with Engwithan runes carved into it. It glistens with his sweat. See the ship that went down over there? I've been looking for someone to help me recover some missing cargo. Tell me more about this missing cargo. He licks his lips. We started in cold morn and we were making our way down the river, loading and unloading as we went. Business as usual. Okay, what happened exactly? He messages the opal in the clammy palm. When we reach Aina's Rest, we may have agreed to take on a few crates from some place called Cleoban Rilag. A couple of the lads snuck a peek at the cargo, saw suits of armor and a broken scepter. He shrugs. Don't know why anyone would want a broken anything, but these animancers will buy dirty stockings if you say they came from the ruins. Iravius blinks 3 times, his face twitching more each time. So, aiding and abetting in the looting of Engwithan treasures. The real crime is that I'm not allowed to tear his lungs out through his navel. He closes his hand around the opal in a white-knuckled grip. We were almost to Defiance Bay when the screaming started. I've seen my share of barroom brawls, but this sounded different. I was topside with the captain, but he and the first mate went below decks to see what all the commotion was about. Well, when they didn't come back, I looked into the hold. He shudders. I saw one of those suits of armor walking around all by itself. It was covered in blood. When it saw me, I started running for the hatch, so I closed it. He squeezes his eyes shut. So, how did the ship get here? He rolls the stones between his hands. I'm just a deckhand, but I was the only one left. I piloted the ship as best I could, but I hit rocks as we were passing Breckenbury. I barely made it to Undra's Gift before I had to jump overboard and swim for the docks. I'd given up on the cargo, not to mention the payday, when one of the lads pulled us up in his nets. He shows you the opal again. It's part of that scepter. From what I recall, there were 3 other pieces, and I'd bet you anything they're somewhere in the shallows too. If anyone could find them, there'd be profit to follow. What happens if I find the rest? You find the missing pieces of the artifact, and I've got an Animancer friend from my expedition days. We'll find you a stack of copper. He scratches his beard. All I want out of this is a few £100 for my lost payday. If that sounds fair to you, I'll give you the stone in the name of my contact once you have everything else. Imatul regards the opal again. Seeing as the kid dredged this stone up in his nets, I'd wager you could probably find the missing pieces out in the shallows during low tide. Anything else you need? About that Engwithan relic. Yes? Do you have any idea what your Animancer friends wants with this relic? She was always tinkering with these things back when we were young. I used to think she was the fool, retiring to some dusty study in Breckenbury. But after that horror on the boat, I'm thinking she made the wiser choice. Have you seen anyone come this way carrying a large chest? Come to think of it, I did. He points to the east. They went that way. Couldn't have gotten too far. How's business? He spits into the water. I'll be glad to sail with captains who are more careful about their cargo from now on. I don't give a worm's wings about the Duke's trafficking laws, but I'm too old to fight ancient horrors. He takes a deep breath of the salty air. I just want to enjoy my twilight years doing an honest day's work. Tell me about Under's gifts. He scratches his sunburned scalp. We've got docks, fishing, and city ship traffic. All this. He waves at the listing shanties crowded against one another. They sprang up around the docks. It's the poorest district in Defiance Bay, but one of the liveliest. He grins. And for lively, nothing beats the salty mast. You do better to ask a younger man than me if you want to